evening, everyone. Today is July 11th. The time is 6:05, and this is the Acushnet Planning Commission. This meeting is being recorded for the cable channel and future viewing on the Acushnet YouTube channel. Is there a motion to open the planning board meeting?
Motion to open the meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, can you please introduce yourselves?
Peter Guyappa, member?
Mark Francois, Chairman.
Brian Deschamps, member.
All right. Meeting minutes. Did you gentlemen have a chance to look over the meeting minutes? Haley sent it to us a couple of days ago. We were all in attendance. I will say she does quite a good job. Yeah, she's got some good detail. I read through it and I didn't see any issues.
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from June 20th, 2024.
I will second it.
We got a motion, we got a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Moving along, no correspondence. Discussions and other topics. Covenant release from map 6, lot 4B for sublot 6 for Davis Farm Lane. Now, from what I gather, gentlemen, this project goes back, way back, so they released lots 3, 4, and 9 back in 1994, and then they released lots 7 and 8 in 1989. There's only one lot left, which is lot 6. As you know, lots are held in a covenant to make sure that the road and all the infrastructure and everything's done. And then we slowly release lots as everything gets built. This has been built for quite some time.
Yes, it has been.
This is the last lot that's been held. I don't see an issue.
Has the DPW, who's gone down to get the last word that everything's been completed on this?
Good question. Good question. I don't think anybody has. I have.
Is this a buildable lot? Is somebody here representing that?
Is there somebody here representing Davis
Davis Farm Road?
Farm Road? No?
Yeah, I mean, I live right across the street.
Oh, that's right, yeah, you do. I'll let Richard Ellis is here. Back in 95.
As far as I know, it looks like it's all complete, from what I can see visually.
Yeah, I mean, they have released
The other lots.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lots out of 9. Well, no, these two already built though, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
They've
lots.
released 6 already.
Yeah, they released 6. This is the 7th lot, and it's
Yep.
been quite a few years, so.
Yep.
I don't know,
Yep.
I'm gonna take a wild stab and say that everything's
Yep.
pretty much done. Can I get a motion to approve the release of lot 6, map 6, lot 4B, sublot 6 from Davis Farm Lane?
I make a motion that we release map 6, lot 4B, sublot 6, Davis Farm Lane.
Got a
I
motion?
second that.
Got a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's just please. Can you sign right underneath the pew, please? Thank you. Moving right along, common driveway special permit for 112 Quaker Lane. Review matters presented, votes may be taken. Is there anybody here for 112 Quaker Lane? All right, this was also sent to you guys, I think Haley sent this out, right? Did you get this?
Yes.
Okay. So this is everything that we went over, basically, the important part is the decision, so everything that we had discussed when Divigna and Leone, Schneider, Divigna and Leone were here last week. So the decision, I'll read through the top five. The DPW superintendent will inspect the construction of the proposed gravel driveway, hammerhead to verify that it has been constructed of suitable material and with proper grade consistent with the town of Acushnet zoning bylaw. Number two, the form of proposed deeds to the retreat lodge shall be submitted to the planning commission for approval to verify that the easement language for the utility services have been granted to all parties serviced by the common driveway. That letter B, Form O, language regarding the maintenance and the repair of the common driveway easement clause is included. And C, that the maintenance and easement agreement run with the heirs, successors, and assigned. Number three, that the easement specifically for the easement specifically for utility be granted in addition to the easement already submitted. Number four, in line with the bylaw, that no building permit shall be issued until, as a minimum, A, a special permit has been granted, B, there is proof of recording at the Bristol County Registry of Deeds for the special permit and the deeds with the common driveway easement clause. C, no occupancy permit shall be issued until the required driveway construction is completed and the special permit granting authority issues a statement of completion to the building inspector. And last, number five, this special permit does not relieve the permittee or any other persons of the necessity of complying with all other applicable federal, state, or local statutes, ordinances, bylaws, or regulations. Basically, those five were the five stipulations that we gave them. Once we sign this, and they still have to go in front of conservation, and then they'll discuss stormwater and whatnot there. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to accept the terms as presented.
I got a motion.
No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving along. Next is the solar special permit tolling lapse dates. Distributed Solar Development LLC, or DSD, which used to be New Leaf Energy. This is for 52 Morses Lane. The plans and accompanying documentation are available for inspection at the town clerk's office, Parting Ways Building, 130 Main Street, first floor, during regular business hours. So, Morses Lane special permit expires their solar special permit expires on July 16th, 2020. The last letter the planning board received is dated September 6, 2023, regarding clarification on lapse dates. The certificate of action, which was approved by the planning board on June 3rd, 2021. This extension request is necessitated due to the delay related to the interconnection of the project. Is there anybody here from DSD to represent?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I may
If
approach.
you please introduce yourself for the record.
Good evening. My name is David Fixler. I'm an attorney at the law firm of Greenberg Charge, and I represent DSD, Distributed Solar Development. And I believe these two gentlemen are also here on behalf of the two projects. There's also Mendel, 251 Mendel Road is also, it's the same,
Right. Yes.
same basic fact pattern. Just one clarification, because the original permits weren't received and stamped by the town clerk, our information, I think we got it verified, is that the Mendel permit was filed with the town clerk on July 29th, 2021, and the Morse's permit was filed on August 3rd, 2021. So the lapse date for Mendel would then be July 29th, 2024, and for Morse's would be August 3rd, 2024. Just a detail, but.
I was with the clerk today, and the clerk was with our town clerk earlier, and they did agree that Mendel Road was July 29th, but we still have it as July 16th. But that's something that we can clarify.
Right. I don't think it's a material point, given what we're talking about today. So I can just begin, or
Please.
So the issue is that the statute, Mass General Laws, Chapter 48, Section 9, which deals with special permits, says that there's a 3-year period, it has to lapse. But if there is good cause, then the permit is tolled until the good cause recedes. And here, the good cause is, there's plenty of case law, and this good cause is something that's completely out of control of the proponent. There's nothing they can do about it, and that is good. That is what has been defined as good cause. And these projects have been caught up in the Eversource Group study, and they have just been sitting in the queue for a long time, while first Eversource studied, then the Massachusetts Department of Public Utilities had to figure out what to do with all these projects, how are the upgrades to the distribution system, because there needs to be massive upgrades to the distribution system to interconnect all of these projects. And so that has been going on, and there was a total adjudicatory proceeding at the Department of Public Utilities, and that adjudicatory proceeding ended with the DPU approving what's called a capital improvement proposal, or a SIP, for this area that these two projects are in. It's called the Marion Fairhaven SIP. And Eversource is now constructing the upgrades. They haven't actually started construction yet. There's a lot of work they have to do. They have 4 years to finish all those upgrades. And until then, these projects won't be able to interconnect. So there is nothing that the project can do until Eversource starts doing its work. Having said that, the projects haven't just been sitting around and doing nothing. They have been actively trying to develop and paying significant investments. So let's talk about what they have to pay Eversource to interconnect. The Mendel project received its interconnection service agreement from Eversource and paid Eversource a $2,326.51 interconnection fee. The Morse's project received its interconnection service agreement later. It was last fall that they received it, and they made an initial interconnection fee payment of $655,645. And then there's a balance that's going to be due next month of $1.9 million. So the total interconnection fee for Morse's is $2,622,581. And so the project proponent has made significant investments in both time and money to advance the projects as much as they can do, given the fact that Eversource has to complete everything they have to do. So that's why, that is the good cause, and that's why these projects merit that. And it's under the law, it's an automatic extension. Technically, we don't have to make an affirmative request under the law, but that's not the way that either DSD or New Leaf wants to, they want to be cooperative, but it's automatic under law if you show good cause. And if this isn't good cause, something that's completely out of the control, when these developers filed for their interconnection for these projects back in 2018, they thought it was going to be the way it always has been, and it would take a year and a half, and it was synced to exactly when they came to this board for their permit. Unfortunately, that's not the way it happened, but that's no fault of their own. And the last thing I want to say, and then I'm happy to answer any questions and also see if you have anything you want to say, is there is legislation right now that is pending on Beacon Hill. The legislators are aware of these issues. They're aware that some towns have just said, some planning boards have said, hey, we don't care, we're just going to reject it, and we'll deal with it. Other planning boards have said, yes, that's good cause. The legislature is now has two bills that are on Beacon Hill. The first one, which was proposed by Governor Healy's Commission on Clean Energy Infrastructure Siting and Permitting, would extend all state and local approvals that were in effect between October 2020 and January 1, 2024 for solar and storage projects, just like these two, for a period sufficient to allow interconnection. And that goes to, I think it's August 1, 2029. That has been passed by the Senate, and now they're just waiting for the House and Senate have to get together on that. Second, the governor had an economic bill that's been passed by the House, and that economic bill contains a section that says that any state or local permit that was in existence between January 1, 2023 and January 1, 2025 would be extended for a few years. So that has passed the House, that hasn't passed the Senate yet. So in a way, some of this is moot because some legislation is probably going to happen anyway by the end of this month, because the legislative session technically ends July 31. That doesn't mean that they get past that. They can pass bills after that, but they don't like to do that. They like to get everything done by July 31st. So that's really where we are in a nutshell. The projects have done as much as they can do to advance the development and continue, and are paying significant fees. But in the cycle of the development for financing, they just have to wait a little bit more until Eversource can get exactly their plans and to see when the interconnection can happen. And the latest that I have on this from the client is that based on the current timeline that Eversource has given us, and Eversource meets with the developers in this Marion Fairhaven group monthly, so they give updates. The developer anticipates a commencement of construction in 2025, 2026, and there's going to be significant efforts taking place between now and then to secure equipment, arrange financing, and finalize contracts for construction. And all of this has been laid out. I'm not telling you anything that isn't in the record here. There was a letter on June 2nd, 2023, sent by Attorney Greg Sampson, and then there were two letters sent by DSD, one in April and one in May for each the Mendel and the Morse's Pond project.
Well, we got, not to interrupt you, but we did get a letter June 2nd, 2023, but that was regarding Mendel Road and had nothing to do with Morse's Lane.
I think that letter also talked about Morse's. It was a combined letter. So it was a long letter, had like 100. It was a lot of attachments. It was both. And then there were letters sent by DST to the planning board in April and in May of this year. Not quite as lengthy as the June 2nd, 2023 one, but also discussing it. And I think a representative from DSD was told that town council they had the letters. He had confirmation from the clerk that they had the letters, and town council was reviewing it.
Town council did get the letters, town council did review it, and I did speak with town council this morning. Okay, is there anybody else?
Yeah, I'm Jared Connell from New Leaf Energy. I think that was very well summarized by David. I think the only thing that I would just say to add emphasis to the, when we were here last year, or last June, when there was some thought that the lapse period was 2 years before we understood it was 3, and we submitted that long letter. The part of the feedback that we got was that the board just didn't understand what had been going on with the project over the last couple of years. So there were other elements, design elements that have been advanced since then, some geotech testing on site, other things that we've done to get the project as ready as it can be for the interconnection agreements to be issued. And at that time when we were here last year, the agreements had been issued, but Eversource had not issued their schedules that David mentioned. So I guess the only thing that I would add is some emphasis on some of the last comments that David was making about the schedule. Eversource has released that, and they've been updating it monthly. I actually brought some copies for the board if that's interesting for you to see. But we can talk at this point, the point there being we can talk with a lot more specificity about the in-service date that Eversource is now navigating to, that the projects will align their construction schedules with. And you'll see here on the blue headers, there are 4, or what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 substations involved in this Marion Fairhaven group. The relevant one for both of these projects that are on the agenda tonight is the Wing Lane one. And the bottom line there is the in-service date for all the work they're doing related to the Wing Lane substation is fall of next year. So obviously that's it's something that's published from Eversource. They're working on it. It's a fluid schedule. This is the most recent one that they updated. I think the date there at the bottom is June 24th. So that has been evolving, but that is the end date, the in-service date that the projects will be trying to match up their construction efforts with.
All right, so I guess when, I'm just trying to figure out, so when are they saying that you might possibly get the interconnect?
The agreement is already issued, and that's what David was mentioning.
Right.
The deposits have been paid. That allows them to place their POs on their equipment, do their design work, and start completing their upgrades.
But I mean, okay, so when is it, the end of 25?
That's for the projects on the Wing Lane one. It's that what is it, October.
So what you're trying to say, this coincides with what you're gonna do?
Correct.
So the 4 or 5 projects underneath the Wing Lane, that's to do with your 2 projects? Because you're on Mendel Road and Morse's.
Yeah,
This
both.
substation, the Wing Lane substation, is what your 2 projects would connect into.
Yeah, electrically, the area that covers both the Mendel and the Morses, it's all electrically related to that Wing Lane area of the Eversource system.
Yeah, the other thing I want to add is that I represented the Marion Fairhaven group in front of the DPU in this adjudicatory proceeding with Eversource. And one of the things that we really pushed for Eversource and the DPU agreed was what's called phased interconnection. In other words, the way this works is they have 4 years from when the SIP was approved, which was at the end of 2022, to finish their construction. And we argued vociferously that, you know, as they get going, there may be a way that, and how they're doing their construction, that some of these substations could be done a year, 8 months, whatever it is, in advance of some of the other substations. And if it works, you know, electronically, we should be able to, we don't need to wait for the entire project to be done to interconnect. And that's something we pushed very hard, and the DPU told Eversource in its order that they really encourage that to happen. Right now, it's still a little premature. Eversource hasn't said exactly you know, whether there be a phased interconnection schedule, but they are working towards that. So it is possible that we might be able to interconnect even sooner than that schedule. We just don't know that yet. And we're all pushing that I sit in on these monthly meetings with the developers, and there's a lot of push on Eversource to tell them what's going on here and what we need to get to be interconnected. So that is a possibility. So this is far from just, you know, on a piece of paper and nobody doing anything. This is, you know, people are really working hard on both the Eversource side and on the developer side.
But you can't tell the board that 2025, 2026, 2027, you don't know when you will be connected.
But it won't be 2027. Eversource will be in a lot of trouble with the DPU. They have to finish everything in 2026, and I think that schedule, that's the whole point of that schedule, and that schedule says when, in the fall of
Yeah, October of 2025. I think that, there's plus or minus, some delays that Eversource could get in the field, or a transformer arriving a month or two late, but I think there's probably a 6-month window around that schedule where, hell or high water, that's the schedule we're navigating to.
First off, let me start by saying that there's only 3 members on the board tonight. If we do any kind of vote towards anything, it has to be a unanimous vote for you to pass. You do have the option to come back when there's a full 5-member board, because you still need at least 3 to vote your way. If we vote to extend your permit, I didn't know you were going to be here, yet the attorney was going to be here. I would have asked town council to be here if that was the case. I did speak to town council today, and basically he said, we have the choice to agree to extend or not, depending on, just like you had said, some towns have decided to extend the permit and some towns have decided not to extend the permit. And I feel we also have that choice.
Yeah, can I respond to that?
Please.
I did reach out to who I thought your town council was, which was Jeff Blake. I've sent him emails starting in May. Unfortunately, he has never responded to my emails. I really wanted to talk to him. So I am disappointed. Now that I know that you talked, I am disappointed that I wasn't able to talk
I
to
did
him.
not talk to Jeff Blake. I talked to another member. Jeff Blake wasn't available.
Okay. What I do want to say, there is no choice. As a matter of law, if there's good cause, it's automatic.
But that's your definition of good cause. Our definition in the past, and what we did with your project a year ago was, and what we've kind of stayed by, is when the proponent yourselves are attempting to actually build something, they've actually pulled permits, they've started working on this, working on that. They might hit a roadblock here or a roadblock there, but usually when somebody, a solar company, is actively trying to put up that solar field, in our opinion, that's what's been going on. If something happened where there's issues with abutters, or there's issues with conservation, or there's issues, whatever other issues that might have stopped them temporarily, then we've all said, hey, they've been going at it, and they've hit this roadblock, their permit's about to expire, we've granted them extensions to the permits. If I'm not mistaken, you were here a year ago, and we denied the extension to both permits. Then we were educated at the fact that special permits for the state had changed from 2 years to 3 years after COVID, or during COVID. We weren't aware of that. We had to rescind our vote of denial, and you had that extra year of the 3rd year. Since then, correct me if I'm wrong, nothing has happened, nothing has changed, and there's been no permits pulled, there's been no activity at the sites in any way, shape, or form. Is that correct?
That's true, but there are no other permits that these projects need aside from a building permit, and that's why there's nothing else that we can do to advance the projects further than where they are now to be ready to match up with the Eversource schedule. The feedback that we got and we heard loud and clear last year at the meeting you were referencing, and at the conclusion of that meeting, you guys had, we were still that was like a month or so ahead of the actual expiration date. So you folks had said they haven't technically, we voted to deny them tonight, but they haven't expired, so you can reapply for your extension.
And the same for tonight.
Yeah, and we did that. That's why we sent the letter with the 236 pages of exhibits, because we were trying to demonstrate all the activity that had happened, the investment with the utility company that David had mentioned, the geotech designs, the other site discovery, all the things that we have been doing and investing in the landowner options, everything staying active and valid on the projects and waiting for the moment that we're in now when Eversource publishes a schedule saying we're about a year away from construction, and then we can start planning the final construction designs and get in front of the building inspector. But outside of that, there's nothing else that the projects need to move to construction other than the certainty around when Eversource is going to be done with their work. There's no other, that's the last thing that we need to move into construction. And with these schedules now being refined to the point, like up until that June update that I just handed you, Eversource, the dates were about a year further into the future. They got an improvement on their transformer delivery date from their transformer manufacturer for that wing lane substation that just pulled the date in that June update by about a year. So the projects are now at a point where we're about a year away from the available in-service date. That's about how long it takes to construct a project. So the current projection is that, sometime in the next 6 months or so, around the end of the year, we will be in front of the building inspector to apply for the building permit and navigate to that fall of 2025 Eversource in-service date.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, you hinted at it. Good cause is something that's out of your control. This is completely, there's nothing that the projects could do. And that is the essence of good cause. The case law is clear on that.
From what I'm told, that's debatable. You have case law that can go in either direction regarding good cause.
I respectfully disagree. The cases are the cases. However, we don't want to be in that situation. Nobody wants to be in that situation. Nobody wants to be in litigation. It's not conducive for anybody. And it is clear now that there is a path. Eversource is now doing what they have to do. They got all their approvals from the state. In the way, from my vantage point, there's a clear path here, and it's just going to get clearer every month that Eversource meets with the developers. But the uncertainty is now past. Now we can start moving forward. So, in my mind, I'm very confident in our position of good cause. We don't want to have to litigate it, but there was nothing that these developers could have done to do anything more. They've done everything they could possibly do, including paying millions of dollars. I think that speaks volumes. If it was a different story, if they had the opportunity to spend the money and didn't want to spend the money with Eversource, that's a difference. Then from that vantage point, you could say, oh well, they're not doing everything they can do, but they put their money where their mouth is, and a lot of money.
I think some of the things that the projects have been doing during this period of to the board would otherwise be dormant because there was no actions that the projects had to do that would come under your purview or jurisdiction. But we listed them in that June 2nd letter of last year. The group impact study, the affected system operator study, the SIPs being filed with the DPU, the SIPs being approved by the DPU, getting the ISA from the utility company, paying the deposits, like all those things are, they're other bodies and other jurisdictions where the projects had a lot of activity, but nothing necessarily that would come in front of the board. But I don't want you to think that the last 3 years the projects have just been sitting idly by. There's everything that they're doing to be active and ready to understand the in-service date and align the construction time period with that. The projects have undertaken that, and they're ready to go as soon as the confidence level in the Eversource schedule is there to push ahead. We're ready to apply for a building permit.
Are we limited to how much we can extend their permit?
No. We can extend the permit for a year. We can extend the permit for 2 years. We have the right to extend it for as long as we choose. It does not have to be an automatic.
Okay.
And our new bylaw that just passed, we actually went from 3 years back down to 2 years. And it gives us the right to extend as long as we choose.
Okay.
way I see it, you have one that's expiring, we both agree on the 29th of this month, and one that you say expires in August, that you say expires next week.
Right.
The town clerk went over this yesterday, and she says that it is the 16th for Morse's Lane.
Yeah, all I know about that, I wasn't involved, I know that a representative from DSD was in touch with, back and forth with the town on these dates, and I think he has emails, so, we need to get, there is a right answer to this, I mean, it's not.
I actually may have a copy of that, I can look it up if that's helpful.
I did see a stamp from the town clerk that said August 3rd, 2021, but, yeah, well, this isn't something that we have to debate about, whether there should be an answer to that. And again, in another month or so, we'll know more what the legislature's gonna do, because that'll supersede anything anybody does if those bills pass.
So maybe we put it off until they see what the law's gonna do.
I'm a bit torn because, again, I hate to vote on something with only, and this is something,
Right.
there's only 3 of us. And it's an important vote if we're gonna vote to extend. It has to be unanimous.
I think we should wait until we have a full board.
I agree.
It's not gonna hold anything up or stop anything, right?
If we extend it for just another month or 2 until we get another full board.
Right.
Okay. So, again, I didn't know you were gonna have your attorney here today. It would've been nice if our attorney was also here or via Zoom. And it would be good specifically for you if we had a full board. I'm willing to, whether one permit expires on the 16th or it's in August, let's just go with worst case scenario, it's the 16th. And then you have another one expiring at the end of the month on the 29th. So let's just say in the next 3 weeks, both of your permits are gonna expire. I would entertain a motion to extend the permits, both permits, for 2 months. Until we could, one, get more clarification on due cause, good cause, and make sure that we have a full board. Because I do know that our other members are also, would have questions regarding this as well.
I'm fine with that. I sit on boards in my town, and I totally respect that you want to have your full board. I think that should happen. I just have to say for the record, it's not me being antagonistic or anything. I just have to say for the record that we consider it already extended for good cause.
That's your
understood.
choice.
I have to say that. That's all.
Right.
Just because I don't, a year from now somebody could say, well, you were at the meeting and you didn't say, oh, here's what you think. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it to be
Right, no, and you have your opinion,
Right.
and I can look at you and say that I don't think that is good cause. Whether you paid $1 million, $2 million, $20 million, that doesn't concern me. That's between you and Eversource. I don't care how much money you've put out. I don't care if you paid it. I don't care if you have to go find donors. That has nothing to do with me and this board or this town. And you might think it's good cause. And let me ask one quick question, and maybe you can educate me. How is it that we have other solar fields in the same area as yours, and they've gotten approved and yours hasn't? Is there a reason why they've been able to connect and that you haven't?
They were not caught up in the SIP. That's the problem, is that these projects, and they're not alone, there's a lot of projects that got caught up in these group studies. So those projects, wherever they were, by luck or whatever, or not in these group studies where everything screeched to a halt and there was nothing the developers could do. They were able to operate on the usual course of business, which is what these developers in this case thought they were doing when they went into the interconnection queue in 2018 and 2019 and did all the work with this board to obtain their permit. So, those projects that you're referencing, they got lucky. That's the difference. They're not similarly situated. There are no projects that are in the Marion Fairhaven group that are interconnected or close. We're in the same position as all those other projects in the group. So, those
So
projects.
you're saying that group was designated a group after they've already got theirs?
Yeah.
Well, it was
Yeah.
just, there was a cutoff point sometime in like late.
Yeah, but it seems like a
2018.
lot of you all came in at the
Wait,
same
what?
time, so I
There was-
kind of don't get how this,
Well,
There was a cutoff point in like late.
believe me, I mean, it was an arbitrary decision by Eversource they did a cutoff date sometime in 2019, 2020, and it was like they gave certain projects, the key for this whole thing is what's called the interconnection service agreement, which is what we've been referencing. That's what you need from Eversource. And they made an arbitrary cutoff date on where certain projects were located and where they were in the queue and said, these projects we'll give you the interconnection service agreement. All these other projects, you have to study as a group. And then it got caught up in the whole DPU proceeding because the DPU said, we have to figure out a way how these expensive upgrades are gonna get paid for. And it launched into all kinds of things at the DPU. So what you're saying, those projects, we wish we were those projects, in that sense. And all I'm saying, you're right, everyone has their own opinion on good cause. I'm just saying that we believe we have good cause, that's all. So that's all I wanted to say. on
No,
that for the
and that's
2
fine, that's your opinion. And I was told, and you said there's a lot of case studies that show that this would be good cause, and I'm not denying that, I'm sure there is. But I was also told there's lots of case causes out there that show that this isn't good cause. And it's a gray area, so to speak, of what, we could,
I totally understand.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally understand.
And
I
again,
would be
I'm
happy
not-
to talk to town council. I think that's a great thing if I could talk to town council and we could.
And I'm fine with that also.
We've done that in other towns, and I've been able to get with other town council, and we've batted it around, and we've reached agreement. So I'm fine with that. That's what I wanted to do ahead of this, was to try and reach out with the town council. So, but we understand that you need a full board here. We totally respect that.
Mr. Chair.
I think it would benefit you if we had a full board, more than anything else. So what I'm willing to do is, and maybe get more clarification from town council. Again, I'm not here to, I don't think anybody on the board is here to just shut you down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've approved a lot of solar farms in the town, and I'm sure we'll have more coming down the pike. We have set a type of precedence on what we approve, what we don't approve, what we extend and what we don't extend. And I like to try to stick to the precedence. I don't want to agree to one and disagree to another under the same cause. So we're not going to vote on anything tonight. We don't have to vote on anything tonight. We're not going to vote on anything tonight. What I will say is we will vote, correction, we will vote to extend your permit at least for the next 2 months.
I was just gonna, I didn't mean
Please, go ahead.
your flow, but I just was curious about schedule over the summertime. Are you still meeting twice monthly? Or
We are
once a
still
month?
meeting twice monthly, and
Yeah.
and normally we have, usually we have a full board. We don't tonight, and I'll be honest with you, we're not gonna have it again next meeting. I would recommend the August 8th, which is not the next, but the second one from now, the August 8th meeting. I know I will be available. These two gentlemen
Should be.
should be available, and I'll try to do every effort to make the other two gentlemen available that day as well. And then we'll make a vote.
I'm available that day.
Okay, all right. And in the meantime, I'll try to get you, and town council, to try to hash this out.
Sure.
And again, nobody's here to disagree or shut anybody down. Nobody wants to go to land court or do any of that either, you know? So we want what's best for the town, and again, I'm gonna reiterate, we set a precedent, and I like to try to stick to it. I try not to make one better than the other, or one, you know, over the other for the same cause. So, gentlemen, I'll entertain a motion to extend the special permit for 60 days until we can get clarification and get ourselves a full board for the proponent.
No, I make a motion to extend the special permit for another 2 months.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What date?
2 months from today. Let's just go 2 months from today. We'll extend the special permit for 2 months from today
For both projects.
for both projects. Today's the 11th. We'll go to September. You know what? Peter, why don't you redo that to, we have a date for the 5th, and we have a September 5th and a September 19th meeting.
Yeah, so let's,
Why don't we go either the 5th or the 19th? That gives them, the 5th is a little over, a little less than 2 months, the 19th is a little over 2 months.
so let's go with the 19th.
Go with the
Go with the
19th.
19th,
That's a meeting day.
Yep. So let's make a motion to extend the special permit until September 19th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
We got till September 19th, gentlemen. We will do everything in our favor. I will actually probably try to get this done before then. Like I said, preferably on our, not the next meeting, because the next meeting is the 25th of July, and I will not be here, and I would like to be here. So the following meeting would be on August 8th. I'm gonna do everything in my power to get all 5 members here on August 8th. That gives us, you know, a little bit less than a month to work everything out, possibly get you in touch with town council, so, you know, if that can maybe get a few more answers taken care of in the background. And I can get some more answers, and then we can make a decision then.
Procedurally, are we gonna be on that meeting, or do you need another extension request letter from us to extend the 9/19 date further to?
Say that again, please?
Do we need to resubmit another extension request later, or is the meeting on 9/19 gonna be like discussion of the one that we already did submit?
But I think what they're trying to do, if it all works out, is to have this teed up for the August.
That's what I'd like to do, but no, I mean, you've already sent in a letter requesting an extension. We've already voted for the extension. You're extended too, so, you know, if for some reason we don't tee this up and get it taken care of on August 8th, and this goes a little further, then, yeah.
We still got other meetings.
We still have time for another meeting after that one, before the 19th. So we still have time if need be, for whatever reason. I hope not to.
Okay.
But no, we made the vote. The vote's good. You've already submitted a letter. We'll make it to the 19th of September, but I'm hopeful that on August 8th, we can take care of this.
And
Vote one way or the other.
And how should I just wait to hear from town council, or?
No, you've got the email. If you could email the planning board, you or them, somebody, email them your contact information, and then I'll forward that over.
Okay,
And I'll see what, you know, we can do that way.
okay, great.
Okay?
Thank you very much, appreciate
I
it.
gotta be heard too. You said everything I wanted.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay. Chairman Francois and members of the board.
First, sorry, introduce yourself.
I'm going,
Oh,
I was addressing you then anyway. Right?
gotcha, thank
So
you,
anyway,
sorry.
Yeah, John Williams, I'm an attorney in Bedford, Mass. I also am the trustee of Greenbrier Camp Realty, trustee owner of the former Girl Scout camp. So I've been working on this for quite a few years, and I'm as frustrated as you are with the utility delays. But I've been working, I'm trying to create more of a, probably because of my wife yelling at me, but more of a green project and less, instead of doing housing in there, the upland for what I was gonna put housing in, the senior housing, under your new bylaw, seemed like you get a lot of units. So instead of doing that, doing the solar project, renewable energy, I also been working with Buzzards Bay Coalition, Mark Rasmussen, who's a friend of mine, and we're working with him. They're gonna get 65 acres of the rear of this property. That's gonna connect up to other pieces he got from Acushnet Sawmills Company. And they don't have to access from Mendel Road. Initially, they wanted to access from Mendel Road, but they don't have to do that now. So it's good. It's not gonna create any traffic or parking problems on Mendel Road, but I know dealing with the state, and they passed, I got Chapter 91 license, they passed Permit Extension Act, almost all permits, they automatically extended. They have COVID tolling that extended it. I think David's a little more up on the ball on it than I am, but I think, so you mentioned that you had heard that utility delays didn't constitute good cause. Is there some case law, or maybe did your town council?
I was told that there is case law in both directions, yes.
From town council?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's good. Maybe when we talk to them, maybe there is something that we were unaware of. But anyway, that's fine. So we're gonna be back here on, okay.
That's what I'm shooting for, is August 8th. I'm going away, so I won't be here for the next meeting, which is the 25th, I think it is. And then August 8th is the following one after that, 2 weeks after that. I'll be here, these two gentlemen will be here, and I'll do everything I can to get the other two gentlemen here that day as well. And we can try to, get all the information from town council. Hopefully,
Yeah.
like I said, get town council involved, and you guys can talk in the background, and then go from there.
Okay, well, thank you for, because of the timeline here, obviously, if we didn't get the 2-month extension, we'd have to go forward tonight. So thank you for offering to have the fight.
Yeah, I understand, and yes, we've already been here a year ago, and we denied the extension. That's when we were educated on the change in the state on permitting tolling for another year. And I can't guarantee you what the outcome will be, but like I said, we'll get everybody here, and we'll get a little bit more information from town council, and we'll go from there.
And that's we need to make an informed decision, so.
Exactly.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Just one, I was gonna ask one more question
Sure.
before we leave. You mentioned the standards that you're trying to apply to everyone fairly, which I really appreciate and understand. I think that's a very fair and good approach. Can you share what the standards are that you've applied? to
I've
other
almost,
projects?
yeah, and again, I don't speak for everybody. The board is, they're individual, they vote how they feel they want to vote. My standards for my vote is if a solar company has been actively trying. Again, see, you brought something to light today that I wasn't quite aware
Yeah,
of.
nobody's heard of.
What's that?
Nobody's heard it.
No.
Nobody's ever brought that information.
Nobody brought, the information that you brought in saying that they could, but you couldn't for whatever reason. So we've got other solar companies that they've started clearing, they've started putting up solar panels, they're doing their thing. Some of them have hit roadblocks for, like I said, it could be conservation, could be abutters, whatever, they've hit roadblocks, and their permits have come up, and they've come in for extensions, And like, okay, look, this person's been trying to do it, they've been building, they've been doing this, they've been doing that. Ooh, they just hit some wetlands, now they've been stalled because of conservation, and now their permit has come to an end. So we've extended permits for those reasons. For other reasons of not doing anything whatsoever, there hasn't been a permit pulled, there hasn't been a tree cut, there hasn't been anything done. I'm not even sure if you guys have gone to conservation, I don't know if there's wetlands, I don't know if anything's been delineated, I don't know if anything's been done out there. So in my opinion, 3 years, 0 has happened. That's my litmus test, that's my test of yay or nay. That's my good cause.
I will, we'll make it a point then to bring some more information to the August meeting or submit it ahead of time about the cutoff date where projects that came before that enjoyed a normal interconnection application process and schedule, and projects after that got put into these group studies, because believe you me, like, if we could be in that other group and under construction right now, we would love to be in that.
Well, that's
group of
new
projects.
information that we weren't aware of, that you know, because in my opinion, I have a solar farm on Wing Lane. They were able to build and connect. I have a solar farm right here on Main Street. They were able, and all these permits were all pulled more or less the same time, give or take 6 months or so. All these permits were pulled more or less the same time. They've been able to build, they're connecting. We got 2 more, Moses Lane and Cushing Lane, and 4 other projects that are in the process. And why not you? And it's all, again, all these permits were pulled more or less the same time. I wasn't aware, and if you could give me some facts of
Yeah.
why these were able to go through,
Yeah.
and you were not, and you were held up purposely, then that'll go a long way with me.
What that effectively means is in the matter of a few weeks, if their application went in a few weeks ahead of ours, they were on the right side of that cutoff date, and they got to enjoy, the normal interconnection process is like a 6-8 month process, whereas we applied, a few weeks into 2018, and ours has been, almost a 6-year process.
Yeah, these are one of those possible roadblock scenarios
Yeah.
that we have to look at.
Right, it wasn't, there was no rhyme or reason how Eversource did their cutoff as to which projects were gonna be on the one side, which were on the other. It was arbitrary, they just picked the date and that was it.
I'm just trying to look at other ones that are here that might have been 355 Main Street. Their building permit was issued in 2022. So there's some before you and some right around the same time as yours. And again, I wasn't aware that they put the Heisman in front of you, so and no more. If you can give me some more information on that, that would go a long way.
Okay.
If I could find out why they were and you weren't, where that cutoff line was, that'd be good information.
And we can give you some of that information. What really happened, there was about a year, maybe almost a 2-year period where that wasn't disclosed to the developers that had all applied around the same time. And then it slowly came out that everything's been named into a group study. Then there was an indefinite hold placed on everything. And here we were still, all the developers were still, permitting, assuming a 6 to 8 month interconnection process. Got told that there was a hold, and then were placed on hold for, I don't know the exact time period, I can look it up, but it was almost a year and a half. So here we were, we had permitted assuming it would take 6 months, and then there was a year and a half hold. Then they started a group study. The study itself took a year, and then things sat for another year or more before DPU approved the study. So that was the good cause time period where everyone that applied around the same time assumed a normal interconnection process, and it just didn't play out that way.
Okay. Well, the more information you get us, the better it'll be.
Yeah.
Hopefully on August 8th we can resolve it.
Thanks. We really appreciate the way you guys handled things tonight, and appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good night. All right, gentlemen, that was actually both Mendel Road and Morse Lane, so that was the end of that. No town planner updates. No new business has come in. Is there anything you'd like to discuss? You good?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to close the meeting.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good night.